let's go forward. Now, I would like you to remember this one figure here is 3 billion euros or dollars. They're almost alike. This was done in 2020, and by 2025, we're living it today. Should exceed 3 billion investments. Africa data center market. Just pure curiosity. Fast click, yeah. Now, the problem lies also that the bankers that are giving out funds for projects, they are, well, I've been working a lot with bankers. They are basically lazy. They would always like to have someone else to check on the numbers and do the math and verify and validate the projects. And then when the good project is found, then everybody would like to jump into the wagon. And this leads to a situation where there's a lot of good projects available also in Africa, but there's a fair amount of work to be done with them, and our digital investment facilities for that to make bankable projects. So, digital investment facility, it's an EU Team Europe initiative, EU-funded EU money for enhancing let's say, the African digital infrastructure per se. And we in the digital investment facility, we are focusing on data centers and IXPs. This is our mandate now. We have also geographical mandate, which is sub-Saharan Africa, so 46 countries within sub-Saharan Africa. Unfortunately, Tunisia is not part of that, but we are currently drilling some holes to our mandate portfolio, so that in extent of data centers, we are also supporting fiber backbones, national grids, etc., etc. So this is a kind of, I would say, a negotiable thing. Our project runs until 26, and of course there would be a possibility for a new let's say project or era where I would say that we can negotiate then on also other countries and other regions. So yeah, there's a lot of capital in the world available. Really the thing is that who is carrying the risk. So how we are addressing this let's say project is that we try to validate the project in such a way that they are bankable and kind of consumable for the investors to come in more easily. And next, I would like to show what kind of, let's say, tools we have for that. So we are meeting a lot of data entrepreneurships or entrepreneurs, and what we can offer is we can offer an early stage, let's say, a platform and connections that not really polished projects can come to us, and we can take a look of them and focus on, let's say, things that the investors and funders would like to see in the project. This is we are neutral in such a way that we are not related to any bank or any institutions per se. Of course, we have good relations to European financial institutions, but then again, we are pretty much talking to everybody and anybody, and we can give a good, like, first sight advice that what is eligible and what is not in a project to get funded by banks like EIB or national institutions like the French AFD and etc. etc. Then, of course, I was referring that the financiers are a bit lazy, so what they want to see is a good pipeline of good valid projects, and this is also something that we are preparing for them. We are putting resources on going to the ground, to the project, boots on the ground, validate the project, and vendors are also, they like us because we know pretty much what is going on in Africa, and of course the vendors would like to have their products disseminated in the project. So and of course we'd like to recommend things once we know that something is fitting somewhere. So this is another kind of an aspect in our project. We have these kind of packages, let's say 5 of them here. The most important maybe is the validation, because we are neutral. So we can look at the project and then give our advice and really validate the project to the financiers as well, that somebody has gone through it, somebody has made a background checks, etc., etc. So it's much more edible for the investors as well. Then we are putting technical resources to the project, not only ourselves, but we have external consultants to do that. So we pay their invoices, so not the project owners like you. And above that, of course, matchmaking with the investors. We do collect market knowledge, there's a study that we made together with World Bank on green data centers. That's available on the website, and of course by request from me. We are generating now cybersecurity review for data centers. Right now we do some additional, let's say, financing guidelines for data centers for Africa. And we are collecting also repository of standards and guidelines globally, what there is available. And we would put them openly available for anybody to look at and study and see what is available. So this is about the market knowledge. And then we are also we are going to make training on these issues and subjects together in the conferences like this across Africa in the coming, let's say, 2 years. So if you're project owner, you can select what kind of things you would need in your project. This is let's say 3 out of 5 packages, and these are also always tailor-made as well. Now, let's go forward. So I mentioned about the 3 billion euros. Right now, we are past 25 projects that we have identified, or they have expressed their interest, EOI, through our EOI channel. It is 3 billion euros. Well, 3.5 has passed already. So we are constantly getting these new projects coming in, and it's really nice to see that there's a lot of activity in Africa. This applies to sub-Saharan Africa. These numbers, and how to get in and how this works is we have a simple web page, very simple web page, where we have an expression of interest form, and you can fill in that. There's a little bit of fields, and you are free to put your data in or whatever attachments you would like us to see, so to support your project. And we have 2 weeks window that we promise you an answer, and this is the way that we try to decline the mandate projects and kind of take out such projects that are not in our mandate. And we go to through different kinds of assessments, so go into details of your project, and also give guidelines what kind of investments they are available. It culminates to this kind of activity brief. If everything's fine, your project is eligible, and there's a potential to it, so we take it to the Commission for review, and after we get a green light from there, we can then assess, for example, technical assistance to your project. It can be anything from financial advisory into even like lead BREEAM consultancy. We have 11, 12 different technology areas also that we can work with you. This is pretty much negotiable as well with us. And the big cube over there is resembling that. Hopefully then in the end we have a bankable proposal that different institutional investors are competing, lowering their margins and their interest rates, etc., etc. This is usually what happens in a good project, that in the end there's a competition who wants to come in and what kind of consortium is going to finance them. So of course I have to underline that out of the 3 and 3.5 billion capex needs we see today, not everything is going to get financed, but I'm confident that the good deal is. So what are especially interesting for us is that we look on so-called second-tier markets. Now, if you look at the Africa, South Africa has a lot of investments, a giant deal of the whole African investment. So we would like to see a distribution of investments also. So regionally by country, etc., etc. Then what, for example, EU stresses is the public interest and what is called additionality. So it has to have a good citizenship kind of tune in the project. Maybe collaboration with the universities, etc., public sector also. we normally, when you put the DC, that is happening by nature. This is not a, let's say, so big issue, but certainly when we make the documentation, this has to be seen there. And then ESG, so environmental, social, governance. I would stress the E. We had a great presentation about the E component, energy, environmental issues. It just is a fact nowadays that DCs are not going to be invested or financed from at least from public FIs unless it's a sustainable energy. It has a sustainable energy source. So that has to be said right out. So whenever you're planning something, it doesn't work that you are planning to run the whole thing on gensets and with the CO carbon from underneath. It just doesn't fly in the investment side for European investors nowadays. But there are very good, very nice, healthy projects. It is also so that if you're combining the energy source in your project, it pretty much turns into an energy project as well. So because of the magnitude of the energy investments in it. But yeah, these are kind of like focus things that we look at. Then of course the connectivity, that you have secured connectivity, preferably in a multiple physical ways of directions as well. But then there's a lot of details as well. And this is a little bit about our team, what we are working on. We have local offices in Southern Africa. We have Pretoria, then we have Nairobi, Eastern Africa, Western Africa, and Dakar. Also, French-speaking support is concentrated in Dakar, and then we have some people in let's say cold north. I'm highest up in Helsinki, sitting there. Try to get away from there as much as I can, but yeah, Brussels political support, and then we have GIZ is also a German operator is also involved in here. So there's few people also supporting this program. At this stage, I'm happy to answer any questions. If you have, you can also come and ask later, and yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Teppo. So I have a question. So everybody's talking about building data centers. So it's like a hype now. We know that there is also a huge need in terms of digital infrastructure. But when we build a data center, actually, what are the direct target customers that we should focus on?
Okay.
So, like in terms of the direct customers, yeah.
Yes, I would rate it. Well, right now, for example, the dominance of African data centers are telecoms. So telecoms need the data centers for storing all the traffic, videos, etc., etc. So that's a one consumption point. Colocation, we see it's not picking up very well in Africa. So many of the colocation projects have some difficulty to fill up their server space. But what is, of course, is the hyperscaler need. And when hyperscalers are coming, so in countries in Africa, it means a hard currency. It means a steady flow of cash flow. So both are very positive towards the projects. So this is one. Of course, they require a lot. but from you, and they require stability. They require stability in the country, and lots of technical things. The good side is that, for example, one of our consultants is working with all the big names in the north, in Finland, plus 20 projects, and we can help on getting the specifications right. So we know a little bit about the hyperscaler world as well.
Yeah. So that means, actually, one of the main triggers is actually hyperscalers, consumer or clients. So that means if the hyperscaler, they have consumers in Africa, so there is like a huge chance that the hyperscaler, they want to have a data center in Africa. Either they build their own data center or use like a data center operator. So this is the main.
Correctly. The CACR CAGR for the ICT growth has been like more or less steady, 12% per year for many years, and in Africa, and I mean, not very many industries can region-wise achieving that kind of growth rate. So it's a healthy. It starts from a growth, but it's steady. It goes up and up and up, and I don't see any reason why it shouldn't go a little bit higher up and a little bit faster up as well. Yeah. So there is growth in Africa, and of course, lots of people, lots of mobile phones, lots of video usage, and of course that drives things up. And but once you have a data center, so there's also kind of growth around it that usually also kind of increases the economy quite radically. We've seen a lot of good cases like that. If you, for example, you can provide some part of your connectivity to the surrounding environment, some of the energy that you might have to produce around it. So those are the kind of good things, and they can be a positive vectors in your investment proposals as well, as far as we look at European financial institutions, but other institutional finance as well. But yeah, the underground growth is it's also good to mention, and good kind of like good to bring up and volumerize to the listener as well. That, okay, if we put the data center here, it means that we are going to get this and this amount of companies, service providers, ISPs around us. So kind of show that it's not about the data center and not about the turning electricity into heat per se, but also it's a part of the living society.
So that means a data center to flourish, it means to be connected to its ecosystem.
Yes.
And work with its ecosystem. So yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
And yeah. And how? So what is the reasons behind the co-location market is not moving in the African countries, except South Africa, because it's not very African represented. It's African, but it's not. Yeah.
We did an early study on the, let's say, which relates to co-location needs. Also, we found that Africa has like over 400 data centers or smaller than data centers. Goes to one corporate rack in a corner in a closet. There's a lot of that still in Africa, and the transition is that once there is a solid good places, so maybe you get rid of your own racks and go to a secure place where there's energy and connectivity, like securely organized. So, but yeah, at the same time we're listening to a lot of the data center operators, and they kind of say that, well, they try to be positive, but it's a bit so that it's a hard market.
Yeah. Okay. One last question.
Yeah.
So you know that in the industry, actually, we used to have like a server room in the closet, and then we externalize, we outsource the server room, we put it in the data center. At a certain time, we start to virtualize it, and then we built the cloud on it, and then people are now more or less using cloud resources than a part of the market. Do you expect something like that in Africa, or do you expect like going from the racks, the office rack to the cloud resources directly? Or because we don't need to follow the procedure like what happens in the world, but since now the availability of the cloud resources is more developed with local player. Because it's very important in terms of market, because you cannot address you don't address like SMBs or final users as a data center operator, like you address people who are looking for co-location services.
Yes, and at least for the, let's say, last 10 years, since there's a good sea cabling coming from east and west and also north to Africa, so that kind of also grows the market in such a way that the small guy who needs a server, so he rents a virtual server from Amazon, and then the calculation is somewhere in the cloud of Amazon, and of course that supports business, but the more there is business, so more there should be activity also in this continent on having the cloud services in here. So that there was a good reference that competition is good, and of course it pays up to send data back and forth in the sea cables as well. So I mean, if I'd know the answer, then I would be investing somewhere there where the gold mine is. But
okay, thank you very much. Thank you. So the Global Gateway Initiative, they sponsored the coffee break, and I think we are ready for the first coffee break after all the efforts.